Hi students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing the paper Word Classics. And today we are going to discuss some important figures, some important writers in Russian literature. In the last class we already discussed about Russian literature and some of the important writers in Russian literature. Let us look into our portion. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky was a Russian novelist, short story writer, essayist, journalist, and philosopher. Yes, he was a Russian novelist. He was considered as a very famous uh, Russian writer, one among the Russian writers. And he was a Russian novelist, short story writer, essayist, journalist, and philosopher. And his literary works explore human psychology. That is the peculiarity of his writings. That is, most of his works explore human psychology in the troubled political, social, and spiritual atmospheres of the 19th century Russia. That is, most of his works enter deep into the human psychology, try to understand the problems that the humanity face, especially in the troubled political, social, and spiritual atmospheres of the 19th century Russia, and also engage with a variety of philosophical and religious themes. Most of his works dealt with a variety of philosophical and religious themes. Then, his most acclaimed works include Crime and Punishment. Please note all these works because all these works are very important in world literature. This Crime and Punishment, his world famous work. His most acclaimed works include Crime and Punishment, The Idiot, Demons, and The Brothers Karamazov. Please note all these important works by Dostoevsky. Many literary critics considered him as one of the greatest psychologists in world literature. Yes, many literary critics, they considered this Dostoevsky as one of the greatest psychologists. Why he is considered as the greatest psychologist? Because most of his works, or through his works, he tried to analyze the human psychology. His works explore human psychology in the troubled situations. That's why many critics considered him as one of the greatest psychologists in world literature. That is, enter deep into the humanity or their mind or the problems of the humanity, etc. His 1864 novella, Notes from Underground, is considered to be one of the first works of existentialist literature. Existentialist literature, it is a branch, it is a genre. That is, existentialist literature deals with the theme meaninglessness of life, or otherwise there is no God, or questioning the existence of God and our existence, etc. Most of the existentialist works deal with such themes. So his 1864 novella, Notes from Underground, is considered to be one of the first works of existentialist literature. Please note that. And he began his career writing fiction about poor people in harsh situations. He began his career, that is, writing fiction about poor people in harsh situations. Literary modernism, existentialism, and various schools of psychology, theology, and literary criticism have been profoundly shaped by his ideas. He was specialized in the analysis of pathological states of mind that lead to insanity, murder, and suicide, and in the exploration of the emotions of humiliation, self-destruction, tyrannical domination, and murderous rage. He was specialized. That's why he was considered as the psychologist, is famous psychologist in the world literature, because he was specialized in the analysis of pathological states of mind. He tried to explore the human psychology, that condition of mind, that pathological states of mind that lead to insanity, murder, and suicide, and in the exploration of the emotions of humiliation, self-destruction, tyrannical domination, and murderous rage. All his works are renowned as great novels of ideas that treat timeless and timely issues in philosophy and politics. Most of his works, that is Notes from Underground, then Crime and Punishment, all his major works are renowned as great novels of ideas that treat timeless and timely issues in philosophy and politics. Another important stylistic element in Dostoevsky's writing is polyphony. Yes, like stream of consciousness. One important characteristic or stylistic element in Dostoevsky's writing is polyphony. What do you mean by this polyphony? It is defined as the simultaneous presence of multiple narrative voices and perspectives that we can trace. Simultaneous presence of multiple narrative voices and perspectives in his novels or in his works. That characteristic, that style of writing is called polyphony. So, like the characteristic features, like the writing style of modern writers, that is a stream of consciousness technique that modern writers used. Like that, here Dostoevsky's writing style is like polyphonic. Polyphonic means simultaneous presence of multiple narrative voices and perspectives. In short, we can see that Dostoevsky is one of the major figures in the world literature. I think all of you understand about Fyodor Dostoevsky. We are going to discuss about Alexander Isevich Solzhenitsyn. Solzhenitsyn was a Russian novelist, philosopher, historian, and short story writer. He was an outspoken critic of the Soviet Union. Yes, he was an outspoken or a great critic of the Soviet Union as well as communism. So there is a outspoken critic of the Soviet Union and communism, and helped to raise global awareness of its Gulag forced labor camp system. He helped, or through his writings, he raised global awareness of its Gulag forced labor camp system. He tried to analyze, or he severely criticized the communist ideals of Soviet Union and helped to raise that global awareness of its labor camp system. And he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1970. He was born into a family of Cossack intellectuals and brought up primarily by his mother. That is, he was from a very famous family, that is family of Cossack intellectuals. Cossacks mean a member of a people of Ukraine and southern Russia, noted for their horsemanship and military skill. That means a member of a Cossack military unit or something like that. That's why it is called Cossack intellectuals. They are noted for their horsemanship and military skill. So he was, that is Solzhenitsyn, was born into a family of Cossack intellectuals and brought up primarily by his mother. He made an impression on the public by the book's simple, direct language. That is, he used very simple and direct language in his writings. Most of his books treated the daily struggles and material hardships of camp life. That is, he severely criticized the communist ideals of Soviet Union, as well as he raised his voice against the forced labor camp system that was existing in Soviet Union. That is, he helped, his writings helped to raise global awareness of its Gulag forced labor camp system. And his first publication, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, was widely read in both Russia and the West, and its harsh criticisms of Stalinist repression provided a dramatic insight into the Soviet system. That is his first publication titled, please note that is One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. It was widely read in both Russia and the West. And its harsh criticism, this particular publication, this work, it severely criticized Stalinist repression, and it provided a dramatic insight into the Soviet system. In 1974, he was expelled from the Soviet Union for treason, and he moved to the United States. in 1974 he was expelled from the Soviet Union for treason, and then he moved to the United States. He was celebrated as a symbol of anti-communist resistance in America. Then after that, he was celebrated as a symbol of anti-communist resistance in America. But he was also extremely critical of many aspects of America, especially its incessant materialism, etc. At the same time, he was severely criticized certain aspects of America, especially its incessant materialism, and he was died of heart failure in Moscow in 2008. This is about Alexander Isevich Solzhenitsyn. I think all of you understand about Alexander Isevich Solzhenitsyn. Thus, we completed our section Russian literature. I think all of you understand about Russian literature and the important figures in that branch, Russian literature. Next, we are going to start Italian literature. Let us look into the general line of Italian literature. What do you mean by this Italian literature? How can we define this branch? Italian literature is the literature of Italy and the body of written works produced in the Italian language had its beginnings in the 13th century. Yes, Italian literature is the literature of Italy and the body of written works, that is the Italian literature, yes, that written works produced in the Italian language had its beginnings in the 13th century. It represents the rich culture of the country and depicts the future heroic legends that lived in the country for ages. That is, Italian literature represents the rich culture of Italy. That is, rich culture of the country means Italy, because Italian literature is the literature of Italy and it depicts the future heroic legends that lived in the country for ages. The literary language of Italy was Latin. The literary language of Italy was Latin before the 13th century. The Sicilian was the earliest poetry ever written in Italian. The other notable feature of the Italian literature is the epic poem of the Dante, the Divine Comedy. Yes, we all are very familiar with this title, the Divine Comedy by Dante. The very famous epic poem in Italian literature, that is Dante's The Divine Comedy. Another important figure in Italian literature was Petrarch, a humanist, first lyricist in Italy and considered the most important writer of his time. The main part of the Italy's literature is that it is often depicted in the form of plays, theaters and movies which try to promote the Italian culture and literature. Yes, this Italian literature or Italy's literature, it helped to promote the Italian culture and literature, and mainly it is depicted in the form of plays, theaters and movies. Then, Italy is in many ways viewed as the cradle of Western civilization. That is, yes, we all know that when we discuss about Renaissance, the Renaissance first began in Italy. That is, here Italy is in many ways viewed as the cradle of Western civilization. All the historical remains and relics of the Roman Empire were to be found in Italy. And it broadened their vision and provided an impetus to Renaissance. That is Italy. That is this Renaissance first began in Italy. So, Italy is in many ways viewed as the cradle of Western civilization, and literature was a well-developed discipline in Italy during Roman times, during producing several classical works of literature that are still read today. That is about Italian. That is a general outline about Italian literature. I think all of you understand this stream, and we are going to discuss in detail in the next session, that we will continue in the next session, that is Italian literature. This is a general outline about this branch, that is Italian literature. I think all of you understand this session, And students, there is a homework for you, and the homework is write a critical note on Alexander Isevich Solzhenitsyn, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and Italian literature. Write your homework and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.